This is your host, Nick Riley, and you're listening to the One Day Advice podcast. Together, we're going to take a ride inside the world of personal finance. I'm going to give you a fully transparent, behind-the-scenes look into the financial services industry, helping you to optimize your financial life along the way. Today, we're going to be discussing how to gain exposure to cryptocurrencies using individual stocks. And these are individual stocks that can be bought in either your taxable investment account, brokerage account, or your retirement accounts. And investing in crypto inside an IRA is a bit more complicated than opening up a digital wallet through Gemini, Coinbase, Crypto.com, or BlockFi. So this could be a way to gain additional exposure inside your existing stock portfolio. So most of those custodians that I just mentioned, it's very easy to open up a digital wallet, but that is going to be a taxable account. So there will be tax ramifications from that for any capital gains on the crypto that you purchase. So this is one way to gain exposure to stocks that have a high correlation to cryptocurrencies and possibly hold it inside an IRA where you wouldn't be taxed on the capital gains on that. I understand that some of you listening may already have exposure to cryptocurrencies, so this could just be another way of gaining exposure through companies that also produce other products and create their own revenue streams as well. And I'm not going to go into detail in this episode on whether or not you should be investing in crypto. That's a whole nother topic that I would love to get into, but I think I'll reserve it for a future episode series. And I'm also not going to go into great detail on any one of these stocks that I'm going to be mentioning. So if you're looking to invest in any of them, you should do your own research in order to make a well-informed decision for yourself. And for my attorney's sake, I'll mention that what I say in this podcast should not be used as investment advice. It's for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes only. I do operate an investment management firm where my clients may or may not hold positions in the securities discussed in this podcast. So with that being said, let's get into it. There are 6 individual stocks that I'm going to mention today that are highly correlated to moves in Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Number 1 is MicroStrategy, and that's the ticker symbol MSTR for those that you want to look it up. It's been a long time big name in tech as they offer a suite of data intelligence products. But it has also gained a lot of popularity recently for its public stance and association with Bitcoin. And the CEO has been very vocal on his position around cryptocurrencies. And they hold, I believe, over 90,000 Bitcoins, which is valued around $5 billion, depending on which day you value it. So, and they could be acquiring more in the future, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do. So, a fair warning here is that their position in Bitcoin makes up a very large percentage of the company's overall market value. So there's a lot of potential risk here as a good portion of the company is attached to the price of Bitcoin specifically. The second stock I'm going to mention is Tesla. And this one is probably the most well-known stock that I'm going to mention today. But as you might know, that they recently purchased in January of 2021, $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin, and they plan to accept crypto as a form of payment. So those are both actions that will likely lead to a lot of correlation between the stock and the price of Bitcoin itself. Number 3 is Square, and Square is a payment processor. The ticker symbol is SQ, and it's been an early adopter as they've allowed users to buy, sell, and hold cryptocurrencies since back in 2018, I believe. So they've been a little bit ahead of the curve, maybe not as much as some others that I'm about to mention as well, but they definitely have they have some exposure directly to Bitcoin. They have around 8,000 Bitcoin in under their ownership, but they also have the exposure to users buying and selling and holding cryptocurrencies as well and using it as an exchange. Number 4 is Coinbase. So with their IPO recently in the last couple weeks, they are traded under the ticker symbol COIN for coin. And they're essentially a cryptocurrency exchange that allows you to buy, sell, and store cryptocurrencies. And it's the first of its kind to be publicly traded in the US stock market. So I don't need to go into a whole lot of details there on why they would be a stock that would give you significant exposure to the rise or fall of crypto, because they are heavily involved in this space and a first of their kind to be traded in the public marketplace. Number 5 is PayPal, ticker symbol PYPL. And PayPal is also another payment processor like Square. And however, PayPal does not own cryptocurrencies outright, to my knowledge, but it has announced that users can buy, sell, and hold cryptocurrencies on their platform. So being able to perhaps make purchases using crypto, there's going to be a lot of exposure there for PayPal to the price of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. And lastly, and this is earlier in the podcast I mentioning companies that have other revenue streams besides just their exposure to Bitcoin and actually producing a product. Well, this last one doesn't necessarily fit that mold. It is Marathon Digital Holdings, ticker symbol MARA. They are essentially a crypto mining organization. So they hold on to the currency that they mine on their balance sheet, and this provides them with additional Bitcoin exposure. So for those of you who don't know, crypto mining is much like mining gold. It costs significant money to mine, but you are rewarded in crypto. It's a process in which new crypto are brought into circulation, and it's also a critical component to the maintenance and development of the blockchain ledger that all of the crypto transactions are validated and recorded on. So there's a lot of exposure to cryptocurrencies by holding this individual stock due to the fact that their business is mining crypto and also holding on to the underlying currencies. So there you have it. And I meant to keep this podcast pretty short. Feel free to look into a lot of these individual stocks on your own. But these are 6 companies that would definitely give you direct exposure to the price of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, and allow you to own it easily inside your retirement account to make sure that you're optimizing around taxes and not having to pay any capital gains on this. And of course, I'm not recommending that you buy any of these individual stocks, as I don't know your specific financial situation. But if you'd like more tailored guidance or specific recommendations around this topic from a certified financial planner, I'd be happy to connect with you. And that brings me to a point that the digital age is an exciting time full of great potential. However, it has created a higher sense of anxiety and financial complexity. And what my purpose in the business is to do for One Day Advice is to help you filter out what's important, simplify your finances, and guide you along the path to financial freedom. And cryptocurrencies are a great example of this added complexity and excitement. We love to help our clients build their wealth with these digital assets in mind. So feel free to get in touch with us today. So thanks for listening, and I'll catch you on the next episode. Hi, I'm Nick Riley, the founder of One Day Advice. If you like what you've heard, we'd greatly appreciate your help in spreading the word. After all, we are financial educators, not marketers. Thanks for listening, and remember to leave us a review.
Nick Riley is the founder of One Day Advice, an independent fiduciary and fee-only registered investment advisor. Nick serves as a wealth advisor and educator to his clients. All opinions expressed by Nick and podcast guests are solely their own opinions and do not reflect the opinion of One Day Advice. This podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon as a basis for investment or financial decisions.